Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey friends, I want you to take a moment and imagine. Yes, I want you to imagine how you'd feel living the life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, in places you love, with people you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you it's a very happy life. And so can my friend, George Blakeney Jr. He's my guest star, and he's here today to inspire you to live the inspired life you were meant to live. Hey, George, I'm so happy to welcome you to the Something Significant show.
Man, I'm so happy to be invited and to be here. It's an honor, it's a privilege, and I'm happy to get it in with you today, man.
Right on. Just take a minute and tell our treasured audience what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
So I'm a professional basketball player. I've traveled and played in about over 10 countries, seeing the world, seeing how people live, experiencing it, and indulging myself in the culture, and just how people are, loving people and loving children. I'm the CEO and founder of the You Can Foundation, where we help every student, every child, boy, girl, achieve their goals and dreams. And we can get into all of that stuff. I'm an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, just trying to make the world better in all that I do, juggling everything, the businesses that I'm getting into and have now. And I'm just excited to be here, Matt. I've been looking forward to it. And let's get into it, man.
Well, thank you, George.
Yeah.
Okay, so this show is more about letting people get to know you than so much what you do. So for now, let's let our friends all across the World Wide Web get to know you through what I call the mathematical equation of our happy formula. Yeah. It's simple, but it's powerful. It's capacity plus purpose equals happy. Mm-hmm. So let's start with capacity. George, what are your practices for building your personal capacity, physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? In other words, what do you do on a regular basis to create all the capacity you need to take good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over to give to others?
Well, first and foremost, I pray. Whenever I start my day, wake up early, I pray. I seek God's face for his direction, for my purpose, for that day, for wisdom, for victory. And I can get in all the things I pray about, but I pray first. And then I meditate, man. I sit in silence or I listen to just peace calming music, or if anything at all, because I really want to experience that stillness and create that motivation if I don't have it for some reason that day. To see what I'm going to do that day and carry out the duties I have to do. And then after I meditate, I usually just get started, prepare. I might eat, I might not. Being an athlete, you're supposed to eat breakfast. That's the number one meal of the day. And the most important meal of the day too. And then I just get started with my day, man, and just try to take care of the things that are necessary and not look too much down the road for what's coming. Even though you're preparing yourself for what's coming, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, because time is everything. Timing is everything. I live by a quote that says, you're in the right time at the right place, doing the right things. And that's what I truly believe. You're in the right place right now, carrying out what you're supposed to do right now. So I don't really get too ahead of myself, and not letting the pressures of the world get to me. And then I just really bunker down and focus, man. And just try to take care of the essential things, the necessary things, like the family, finances, the people I love, the people that are connected to me. And try to see how we can really like advance ourselves on earth while being the world itself. And that's really it, man. And after.
So let's go in. I want you to talk a little bit about what I'm discovering is the difference between earthly energy, as you just mentioned, doing the work we have to do on earth, and spiritual energy, which is what you're working on the moment you wake up and you get into prayer and meditation.
Yeah.
And earthly energy is things like physical fitness and mental fitness and financial fitness. And when we expend our earthly energy, that's finite and we need to replenish it.
Right.
But with spiritual energy, it's infinite. The more we use, the more we have. You don't have to replenish it. It grows. I can give love to you, and I have more love than I started before I gave some to you.
Right.
So talk about the difference between, because you clearly started right where it's important with the spiritual energy. So talk about the difference and the balance between those two things in your life.
Well, for me, is the balance is easy. I've kind of learned over the years how to really balance being a professional athlete. We got a million things going on in the world around us. We have a million things going on in a day. You got to juggle practice. You got to juggle nutrition. You got to juggle events. You got to juggle community and all of those things, eating right. So like the balance isn't really a hard thing for me. But where it gets kind of tricky is you're doing all these things and you kind of like miss out on the spiritual duties that you have to do too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important that, you kind of know where to fit in your schedule, the spiritual aspect of your life, because that's what we are. We're spiritual beings living on earth, wrapped in flesh. So once you figure in or factor in or place those things in your plan on your schedule that day or for time, it becomes easier. It's easier for me because we're always taking a physical beating on the court, weights, your physical fitness, like you stated. But the real thing that keeps me motivated and, back on my feet is because I really feed my spirit man too.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes everything that I'm doing in the natural kind of easier, and I can get through it because my spiritual man is fed. I really take pride in being disciplined in certain things. I try in all things, but in certain things it's more preference or prevalent too. So, we try to, be disciplined, stick to what we know, and also evolve at the same time. I know that kind of feels or sounds like a hard task to do, but it's kind of easy when you really, indulge in it and set your mind onto that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, and that takes me to the next topic here is, before we go into purpose, it's this idea you talk about evolve. And so one of my favorite capacity building concepts is called Kaizen. It's this Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results.
Right.
And it means there's always something you can do better tomorrow than you did today.
Right.
And I love it because it always keeps me moving forward in some way every single day.
Right.
And Kaizen has the ability to build on successes. That's how it works. So George, how do you Kaizen your personal capacity to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Well, personally, I identify. I identify the need or the now, whether it's in my life personally, in mother's life, in my friends, my colleagues. I think identity or identifying things that are purposeful is what really is important. You wouldn't know what that person is lacking if you didn't kind of identify or having that spiritual eye to see, or that communication to see what they're dealing with or experiencing on an everyday basis, whether it's their personal life or their business or whatever it is. So I really kind of identify, and then I get to know people, or get to know you, and then we communicate, which is easy for me. I've never really met a stranger. I really never, I always show my good side, which is really my only side that I know, to people, being presentable, being nice, being kind, things that don't cost a thing. It don't cost even a penny to be. And I think that's where a lot of my blessings come from, because I am nice and approachable. I pay attention. I listen to
Mm.
people. I want to get to know that person because you never know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And like I said, it don't cost a thing. And then I just explain who I am. Um, Most of the time, majority of the time, people are already attracted to me because I stand at 6'10", and it's kind of hard to miss me. So, once I open my mouth and explain what I have going on or who I am, what I want to do, and the need and the necessity, um, or just, getting to know me, it makes everything easier. So those are little things about my Kaizen moment. And
Mhm.
it kind of goes up from there.
Yeah, and you're kind of talking about you're applying Kaizen to meeting people and to connections, and I think if I'm listening right, several things happen. The more you do that, the easier it is to do. It becomes natural.
Easy.
There's
Yeah.
no effort. And the other thing is the more you create this network, you have more capacity because of your network knowledge and the people that. So if we were on pre-show talking about getting a grant with
Right.
Libby. And so now that's something that could benefit you that you weren't, it wasn't, you didn't come here for that. And all of a sudden now
Right.
that's something that's an extra adder in your life. That's a
Right.
small incremental step that could yield a big result in the end.
Right, man.
So
And
I
it and
like
it
that.
all and it all goes just about, being visible and being approachable. If
Yeah.
no one doesn't really like, I can meet you tomorrow, like we did at the charity event, the
Yeah.
golf literacy event. Didn't know you from a can of paint. And I just
Right.
came up and say, hey, my name is so and so. Nice to see you. It's those little things in the world that I think we're missing. And the people they're missing opportunities that they could advance or it could work in their favor. And once we get back to that, just being simple, despite of what's going on in the world, just being
Yes,
you,
sir.
being simple. And I think we'll have a ton of more successful entrepreneurs or people headed in the right direction to make a difference.
Absolutely. First time I've ever been called a can of paint. Okay, let's dive into that second element of the happy formula.
Yeah.
And I've observed that major life transformations and discovery of purpose often comes from devastation. Addictions, disease, death, disasters, some big crisis strips a life right to its core. However, in my second book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share a transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose using inspiration.
Mm.
So how about you, George? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
When you ask me that, a few things come to mind. A lot of things have happened in my life, my short life, 30 years old. But in all honesty, man, since I was a child and my mother instilling things in us growing up, it wasn't anything that specifically happened or that was very detrimental. Um, it's just what we were taught to do. Yes, we went through devastations, tragedies. The flood of 1999 that wiped out almost the whole eastern side of North Carolina. We went without for almost hundreds of days.
Mm.
Staying in a high school on the
Mm.
floor.
Wow.
Me personally having a surgery, arthroscopic knee surgery at 5 years old, 7 years old.
Mm.
Again, having those surgeries all the way up through high school because I was growing too fast. Those things that happen over time. Just going without, growing up in poverty, my mother being single or married or whatever, trying the best that she can. So a lot of the motivation or the events that happen, it stems from that, just wanting a better life or seeing how
Mm.
she did or made way with about 3 boys and how she made a way off of really nothing. So, that kind of triggered me being along with being taught how to really, you know, give back or provide or help the next person. One thing my mother always kind of instilled in us or in me, because I was that guy that she always talked to, right, out of 3 boys. She always, say hey, you go to school today, if somebody needs something, give it to
Mm.
them. So if someone is hungry, man, just slide them some of your food. They need some money for a lunch or a snack or something, give it to them. You know, if they need anything, a pencil, a piece of paper, a shirt, or something, if you got to give it to them. Kind of like, you know, being a woman of faith, um, reading the Bible and all of that stuff. You know, she goes by, hey, if someone is out in the street and they need something, blah, 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 you give them the shit off your back.
Yeah.
So, you know, that kind of has driven me in my success and what I'm building along the way. It's really, you know, stuck with me all these years. And I really gained from it, you know.
So there was an inspiration, and she
Oh, yeah,
is your mother.
definitely. Mother was
Your mother.
inspiration. And
Yeah.
I guess the other inspiration was that sense of feeling without,
Yeah.
you know, going without,
Yeah.
which is kind of, you know, I wouldn't say normal in the Black community, but it happens a lot, you know. So that foundation and what she does and what she did kind of pushed that program into, you know, who we are today. And
Love it.
it makes it easier for me because it's what I love to do. You know, it's
Yeah.
a bigger picture. I mean, it's a bigger picture in the end.
When you discover your purpose
Yeah,
and you express that because it's what you love to do, then it's easy.
yeah. It's
When
not a
you're
job.
doing what you're meant to do, it is easy because
Yeah.
you're gifted to do that. So this is good stuff, George.
And
Let's
Matt,
take it.
and a
Go
quick
ahead.
thing before we go to break.
Yeah.
Once you discover your purpose, you kind of learn what your purpose is deeper. So it could be, oh, I'm doing this right now, or I'm helping the giving or whatever. But it's always like a deeper purpose, a deeper initiative, a deeper whatever it is, a need that you unlock over time, you know, that completes you as a human being.
Yeah. No, right. It's I'm a professional basketball player. That's my purpose. No, really, your purpose is to be a giver of hope to young children.
Yeah.
And you got taken through the basketball realm as a vehicle for that ultimate thing.
Right.
And sometimes we don't make it all the way through. We just think, oh, I'm a professional basketball player, and it's all about me. And so that's awesome. Let's take this commercial break because I've got to tell everybody about three things. A super cool company called Dry Farm Wines, how they deliver chemical-free, sugar-free, health-certified wines right to your door, and how every purchase made for the entire month will support a great big donation to our host, WITV7.
Nice.
Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Dry Farm Wines. I first met the man known as the healthiest wino on the planet back in 2016. He said his wines don't cause headaches or hangovers, and that he started his company because most wine consumed in the U.S. is highly processed and loaded with unnatural nasties. Like most processed food, it's toxic. That very night, I made a big health decision. Toxic wines out, natural wines in. It's been 4 years since I made the switch, and I feel great. Go to happyliving.com and select Partners in Happy to get your first bottle of natural wine for a penny. And I'll donate 8% of every order placed during the entire month of November to WITV7. Share the gift of natural wine and pour some love this holiday season. And we're back. And this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm Matt Gersper. Hey, friends, do yourself a great big health favor. If you drink wine like I do, make sure it's super clean and free of toxic and chemical nasties. Dry Farm wines are so natural and deliciously clean, they don't cause headaches or hangovers. I love my Dry Farm wines, and I know you will too. But now let's get back to my special guest star, George Blakeney Jr. Hey, George, I love an article called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. I found it on lifescience.com, and it says the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on this planet. It concluded that compelling scientific data supports the notion that giving one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose, transcending difficulties, and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So, George, I updated the formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really happy.
Right.
What do you think, George, from your life experience? Have you found that giving your time and talents and treasures has been a pathway for discovering your purpose and transcending difficulties you've faced in life, as you've just talked about a little bit, and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Absolutely, man. You can't beat the response or the reaction to making someone happy, or that profound joy that's within you that really comes out when you make someone day. I got a good friend named Jimmy in Charlotte, actually. And every time he sees me, he says, "Man, you're gonna be a wealthy man." I say, "Why you say that, Jimmy?" He says, "George, you're gonna be a wealthy man." And I said it because you always give me your time. So you give me your time.
Yeah.
You give me your essentials. You're giving, everything that you have. And I really thought about it one day, and I'm like, yo, I do give a lot of time, but I got a lot more to give too.
Yeah.
And you really can't put a price on it, man. So yeah, I found profound happiness. Just touching the students that I do, touching the kids that I do, even the adults that I do. A lot of presentations, or when I go to speak in front of the masses or in front of the crowds, you'll be surprised at how many adults I reach or I impact, just off the words that God's given me to say to the youth. So I love it, man. You can't, like I always say, you can't beat the reaction or the joy, because you're there for a reason.
Yeah.
You're there for a purposeful impartation moment, that whatever you say while you're capturing the kids' time, their attention span, whatever they're doing or supposed to be doing, is if it's your time slot, or if it's your time to speak to them, and you have that impact, that life-changing impact through the words that you say, you can't beat, because you've now sown the seed of whatever you're supposed to be talking about that day.
Yeah.
And that seed can produce the next influencer, the next lawyer, the next doctor, the next basketball player, whatever they want to do. And you know what the funny thing is? They always remember what you said.
Yeah. You might not.
They would never. You might not.
Right.
Because you got a whole schedule, whole itinerary.
Yeah.
But they will always remember, man. I remember one day, I was I think we was in elementary school, Montessori school, and I had a sheriff was like, we was in the DARE program back in the day, and the sheriff came through today and spoke, and he was like, "Hey, what's your name?" I was like, "George." He was like, "I'm the tallest person in the class, of course."
Yeah.
And of course, he was like, "Man, you're gonna be great one day, and one day you're gonna come after me, and we're gonna have a great relationship." And to this day, every time I see him, he gave me his first badge, a shirt.
Yeah.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And he's just one of millions or many of people that I'm kind of implanted that seed in me to keep going and tell them I was gonna be great, and I'm living it out today.
And you're sharing it, which is great.
Absolutely.
And the science agrees and supports it. And I agree with the science. Just like you, I've experienced that wonderful feeling that comes from our fourth element of success, doing work that creates value for others. And I know from my own life experience too, that the magic of life comes not from getting more, but from giving more.
Yeah, because you'll get more.
you do get more, but there's more to it than that. This is what I've been discovering. it's not just giving that's magical. It's when you're giving from living in your purpose.
Oh.
That's where the real magic is. So tell us, George, how does it make you feel when you're giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do, through this cool foundation of yours, and someone notices and compliments you by asking, George, why do you always have that great big gigantic smile on your face? Or another says, how are you always happy doing what you do? Someone else comments, you're so humble and you're always going to be blessed. And another one summed it up simply, you're one of a kind.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you're touching others and they let you know what it means to them?
Man, I feel ecstatic, man. I play it off cool, you know, try to have that poker face or whatnot. But deep down inside, man, just to know that I'm really changing lives and got a ton of more work to do. Because I always look, I mean, I celebrate the small wins.
Yeah.
But while living in my truth and living in who I am and knowing who I am, I know there's more to do. Yeah. I know it's a ton of more work to do, a lot of more children to, you know, talk to and find and inspire and motivate. But, you know, for the time being, while we're living in the moment, I really be proud, man. I really be happy. And that kind of sums it up because, you know, that kind of happiness, it don't cost nothing.
That's right.
You know, it doesn't take away from you.
It's pure.
It's pure happiness, man. It's pure joy.
Yeah.
You know, so I love it. I love it, man. It's pure joy. You really can't find the words to sum it up because it's authentic, man, and it's natural, it's organic, and it really kind of inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
You know, and go that extra mile.
It's a virtuous cycle of goodness. And you can have that going up or you can have it going down. And you mentioned something, celebrate the small wins. That's another way of saying Kaizen, right? It's small incremental things, they just build up. Yeah. And so that's it. What you've been saying, you wear it well on your face. Yeah. That's the magic. It's purpose and giving makes this great big happy circle. Giving of your time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose. And then when you're giving from living in your purpose, it brings you this profound joy to your life that you are just lit up about. So giving leads to purpose and giving from purpose leads to joy. So, George, to more properly reflect the exponential power of the happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a little bit more. It'd be like this: capacity times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
I love it, man. I love it. You calculated that and expressed it, you know, way more than my expertise could.
Right on. Okay, let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I'm going to read a few of my very favorite quotes.
Okay.
And then you respond to us, telling us what it means to you. The first thing that comes to your mind, because George is called a lightning round. Yeah. So let's not be sitting around about it, okay?
Right.
First one from Martin Luther King Jr. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope.
Lightning. You want me to expand on it?
What does it mean to you?
Oh, one more time. Can you read it one more time?
We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope.
It's always more to it, man. You got to keep going.
Well, I'm glad you got the rules down now, George, so we can finish the rest of this game. Okay, this one from Khalil Gibran. He says, work is love made visible. If you cannot work with love, but only with distaste, it's better that you should leave your work and sit at the gate of the temple and take alms from those who work with joy.
Man, you got to do everything you're doing with love. You can't have no, second thoughts or anything like that, no disappointments. You got to do everything with love and keep going.
Beautiful. From Coretta Scott King, the greatness of a community is the greatness of the community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members.
It takes a village, man. It takes a community to change the world.
I got that one from your website. You recognize this guy too, John Wooden. Sports don't build character, they reveal it.
Man, always, always, always show who you truly are when no one's looking.
And one more, we're recording this actually on Martin Luther King Day. It won't be published on Martin Luther King Day, but it is today. So I've got one more from this giant of a man. He said, intelligence plus character, that's the goal of true education.
Man, everything you do and everything that you're walking out is going to show how intelligent you are on this earth.
Yeah, good stuff. This is a show anchor, last one from Goff. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Don't be afraid to step out on faith, man. You know, everyone started with a thought. And if you thought it, you can do it. If you think it, you can do it. So over time, it'll come.
Yes, sir. Very good. Very
Matt,
good.
I got one for you, Matt.
Okay.
I got one for you.
Tell me.
So on Martin Luther King Day, which is today,
yeah.
I heard a great quote, man, that I really have gravitated to. And this is what you think about this. Do what you do so well that the living, the dead, and the unborn can't do it at all.
Say it one more time. Do what you do so well.
Do what you do so well, or do your job so well that the living, the unborn, or the dead won't be able to do it as well as you.
Well, I guess the first thing that comes to my mind is that's Jesus Christ on the cross. He took all of it for us. So, and the second thing, I don't know if it relates exactly, but if you're doing work with love, if you're living life with love, it shines through. People see it and you touch people. And so if I'm doing my work so well, then nobody else has to do it, maybe is what it means. I've got happy living covered. You've got you can covered. And now people can do their own thing.
Right. Hey man, we all great at our own job, right?
That's it. And that's the ultimate thing. We really are, I believe, all gifted for a certain pathway.
Yeah.
And probably that's what that means, is that, you do your pathway. And that doesn't mean that, we both can't own restaurants.
Right. All right.
But we're gonna do our restaurants and our client experience. We're gonna do it all different with our own unique touch.
Absolutely.
And the beauty of it is when you do that, maybe what you just taught me is other people then don't need to do it. But the other thing is it's easy and it's fulfilling and it's joyful.
Yeah.
So folks out there, if you haven't discovered it yet, keep looking, because that's the whole gig. So, and now let's go back to the folks out there. It's your turn to play along with us. So if you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with George Blakeney Jr., please share some love with our incredible broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. George, I love your vision to assure children of the future. They can achieve anything they set their minds to if they trust in their own abilities and potential and power. And I admire the 6 methods of sports, your 6 methods: sports, education, community, mental health, wellness, spirituality, and events that you use to create hope and equip children with the principles and skills they'll use for the rest of their lives to create the inspired life they were meant to live. Oh, I love that. And I'm super happy that you've shared your powerful voice of hope and joy on our show today. Would you please take a minute and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Man, I just want to say, Matt, I really appreciate the time and opportunity to the audience, to all the viewers, the listeners, the friends. You can, simple as that. You can, and whatever you can or think you can do, attach it to that you can. Nothing is too big that you can't accomplish. Success isn't built overnight, it's built over time. Rome wasn't built in one day, it took several days. So continue to, fight for the you can. Always remember you can, and your goals, your dreams, your happiness, your hope, your success, your wealth is right in front of you. You just got to unlock it. And once you unlock it, you'll find out your true destiny and your true purpose.
Very good. Wonderful, George. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guests like George and reaching responsive folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary lives. A special thank you to our sponsors for the month of March, Dry Farm Wines and Happy Living. Remember, I'll donate 8% of every purchase that you make for the entire month to WITV7. So tell all your friends too. Go to happyliving.com, select partners, and shop Dry Farm Wines. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things George Blakeney Jr. Find him, friend him, visit his website to contact him or to help fund his mission or to engage him as a speaker for your school or church or organization. You'll find it all at youcanofficial.org. That's all one word, youcanofficial.org. From me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy. And speaking of happy, go to happyliving.com right now and take our happy quiz. Because when you measure your happy, you'll focus your attention on it, and focusing attention on it will inspire change and learning and improvement to come into your life. And speaking of life improvement, I hope George has got you motivated and feeling confident and bold and ready to bring to life your unique and distinct reason for being on this planet, because that's how you'll make your mark of significance on the world. And the world needs to hear from you. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. We're out.